Always remember to build up your brand, add value, and add value. Always remember this. Adding value at the end of the day will help shape who you are and your reputation. Sometimes stop chasing the sale, because chasing the sale will maybe get you one sale or two sale in the short term, I believe, but on a long term wise, you want referral. Hey everyone, we are here learning from Kevin Ward. Let's get into the video and learn from him.
Hi there, it's Kevin Ward with Yes Masters Real Estate Success Training, helping you get more yeses and more successes in your business and in your life. And today I want to talk to you about real estate scripts
And just there, he already got us into the hook with everything. It is simple, fast forward, straightforward, and letting us know what is up with the video, you know? And this video is explain best real estate script that get appointed. I mean, sometimes we all know that script is hard in real estate field, but overall, it does work. Sometimes you still need a base, and you would need to know like the basic and the simple. Like you just gotta know what's gonna come out of your head right away.
work. Because one of the things that, number one, I know we're real estate agents, we all hate scripts. I mean, for the most part, it's natural to not like scripts.
Yeah, like you say that.
Just like the first time I played golf, it was natural the way I swung. It was not natural to like the way that the coach wanted me to swing because it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like me. It just didn't fit. However, the real challenge is not whether you like them or not. The real challenge is whether they work or not and learning how to make them work. Well, the reality is there are some scripts that you just can't make work and get the results that you want for a very...
I mean, true, like in a lot of time in real estate, you always need to accept failure. Like there's no 100% guaranteed success. And sometimes it just happens.
They're the wrong things to say because they get you what you don't want rather than what you do want. So let's talk today about scripts that actually work. And you got to understand first off, and I think we're all on, we would all agree with this, that the goal of basically your real estate conversations, your scripts, the goal is to get yes, right? The goal is...
I mean, that's the key factor right there. The goal is yes. That's all. You always want to make commitment and word that get the customer to say yes, get your client to say yes. I mean, simply just having that goals in your mind, it help you develop what you're gonna do next, and you slowly add value to what you're trying to prove to your client. Then later, which why I believe saying yes a lot of time will help with a simple basic script. That's what he's gonna provide, and hope we can learn it out here.
Say yes to working with you to help them buy a house, whatever the conversation is. The goal is always to get them to say yes, giving you a referral, whatever it is. So that's the goal. So if that's the goal, then we've got to make sure that we're using conversations that lead them toward a yes, rather than conversations, words, and phrases that lead people to say no, or that lead people to resist saying yes to you. So that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about what I call, well, I affectionately refer to them as stupid realtor scripts, which means they just don't work. We say them, and we say them because sometimes they sound natural, and what's ironic is I've even seen a lot of these.
I mean, what he's trying to prove there is a lot of fact that a lot of word we spit out from our mouth and a lot of things we say, sometimes it seems fluent and might work, but in reality, it's just probably not how it is.
Scripts in real estate script books and real estate training materials with the scripts. So let's talk about what you should not use. So there's a right way and a wrong way to use scripts in real estate. So one of the wrong uses that I want to talk about today is don't use what we call negative frames. Don't use a negative frame, and that is where we take a conversation or we take a statement we're going to make and we frame it in a negative way, which basically means a negative frame is assuming or stating something as if it's going to get you the result you don't want. And so actually I happen to have right here some examples of negative frames. Here's some examples of some wrong ways to communicate with buyers and sellers. And again, some of these, I've heard all of these with real estate agents. I've heard every single one of these multiple times, and a lot of these are actually in real estate training programs or real estate training materials, and I'm just like,
I could already think
I can't believe this. And I want to just say this before I tell you the examples, is that people say, well, all real estate scripts pretty much sound the same. Well, and when you drive on the street, pretty much all cars look fairly the same, right? They would.
I mean, I really like his example here, how a lot of time you drive down the street, a lot of cars are the same. And when you look from a distance, they all most likely look the same, but until you look closely into the detail, that's what makes the difference. And that's why when doing a certain thing, when you make it happen and do it with detail, that make you outstanding, and that makes the difference among of you and all different people in the world. So you have to be monopoly, unique, and different, and be the one that is actually different.
They all have more in common than they have differences. And yet there are brand new cars out there right now that you can buy that are worth $30,000, or a car that's $300,000. And if you just look at them at a distance, they could look pretty much the same. However, it's the differences that make one a $30,000 car and the other a $300,000 car. Kind of sounds like real estate agent incomes, right? I mean, to get two agents, both of them can be working hard, and one makes $30,000 a year and another makes $300,000 a year or even more. What's the difference? Well, the differences are what you got to pay attention to. So find out what is it that doesn't work and what does work, and understand that those shifts are a lot of times very subtle. However, as I use these, I'm sure that you'll kind of immediately go like, I can totally see that, when you understand framing a statement in a negative way that leads you toward a result that you don't want.
I mean, from this negative framing, I learned it a lot. Simply just thinking how you don't want to guide your customer to a bad side, right? Like, for example, if you're going up to someone, don't say like, I'm sorry to bother you or whatever. One key in selling, I believe, is more of adding value and promoting. And sometimes it's not just being desperate to make the sale. Sometimes you just have to slowly add value, and don't feel sorry for it. I mean, everyone is equal. Don't put yourself in a lower position whenever you go out in the industry or field. Whenever you start, I believe that you should always start in balancing the same level. That's how you communicate, right? I mean, think about you talking to your friend. Isn't that's when you're the most comfortable? That's why don't make things complicated. Just take a step back and make things simple. Put yourself in the same level as your client and your customer.
Here's a great one. How about this one? Oh, listen, I'm so sorry to bug you, but would you blah, blah, blah.
Yep, just as I
Okay,
explained it with
why
the
would I
example.
say this? Why would I start out apologizing when I'm about to ask for business, or I'm about to ask to be able to add value to them or somebody they know? Why in the world would I ever start out with an apology? Here's the assumption. Here's the negative frame. The negative frame is I am assuming that what I'm doing is going to upset you, and therefore I need to apologize up front. Now, if you are not if you are there to add value to people, if you as a real estate professional, your goal is to help people get results that they want when it comes to real estate.
And pretty explanatory how I said, you always remember to build up your brand, add value, and add value. Always remember this. Adding value at the end of the day will help shape who you are and your reputation. Sometimes stop chasing the sale, because chasing the sale will maybe get you one sale or two sale in the short term, I believe, but on a long term wise, you want referral. You want people to recognize you. You want reputation. That's why you need to add value rather than just simply selling. You need to make name to your brand and get them to know on the street.
Never start out with, never lead with, I am so sorry to bug you. So in the old world of David Letterman, I didn't get the sound effect. I don't know what's up. Okay, so number two, second negative frame. A second thing you don't want to use is, well, I know you're probably not wanting to sell or move anytime soon. And this is a script I've seen in training materials on when you're door knocking and say, hey, look, I'm Kevin Ward. I'm a local real estate agent. I know you're probably not planning to move. Okay, now why would I do that? Why would I start out expecting a result I don't want? I'm starting out by leading.
I truly agree right here. Like, whenever you plan on doing something, just go for it. Don't think too much on the negative side. That's something that's just stopping you. Whenever you go out and do something, like, try your best and just put in the effort, regardless with the result. Like, sometimes you gotta expect a failure. Like, it just happened. That's how life is, and you can't always expect 100% guaranteed success. And there's not really such a thing like that exists on earth, I believe personally. And it's okay to just think in a positive way whenever you go out to do something. And somehow just thinking positively could end up leading you to a positive direction, because a lot of time in life, if you think negative, oh, I'm going to be poor, I can't afford that, I can't afford this, then one day you're going to end up not able to afford it, right?
The conversation toward them not wanting to move. Now, here's the law that comes into effect in this, the universal law of you tend to get in life and in relationships and in business and anything, you tend to get in life what you expect. And what's happening with negative frames is I'm going in with an expectation that they're probably not interested in moving. So I'm speaking that into the universe. I'm speaking that to them, that I'm not expecting you to give me a yes. Why would I focus on getting what I don't want when it's so much more powerful to focus on getting what I do want? So you're probably not wanting to move. Forget that one. Here's another one. I love this one. I know you're probably sick and tired of hearing from agents right now, but blah, blah, blah. Why would I assume and speak to them that they're sick and tired? Because they're going like, well, no, you're actually only this first agent, you're the first or second agent that's called me. I really wasn't sick and tired yet, but now that you mention it, I'm kind of getting sick and tired of you right now. Why would I go in expecting that they're going to be sick and tired of hearing from me? So let's get rid of that one. All right, I love this one. I know you're not going to like to hear this. I know you're not going to like to hear this. Now, this would be, a lot of times, this would be one that's used like in a listing presentation, or once you've already established a relationship, it may be used in negotiating. Why would I start out by saying, okay, this is going to upset you? Okay, don't expect people to get upset.
I mean, simply how I explained it before. Why would you go something just starting off from the negative side? I mean, like you should be adding value to what you're trying to prove, not like just simply, oh, I don't want to bother you. Oh, I know it's bad and tough at the end of the day for this or that. Like, don't need excuse. Just be confident, okay? Like, the type of thing I see with this is simply people not being confident with what they're providing. Like, if your service is worth the value, just have to believe in yourself and charge what you need to be charged. You don't have to be sorry for anything.
Okay, they're not going to like it. Why would I then emphasize the fact that they're not going to like it? So don't ever lead with a negative frame of you're not going to like this, or this is probably going to make you mad, or whatever. Never lead with a negative frame. It simply does not help you get toward a yes. All right, and then I'll save the best for last. This is when you're meeting people. And when you want to get their contact information, because look, getting people's contact information is how you really establish your relationship. And this is one of the absolute ones that drives me crazy. Would you be offended if I asked for your phone number? I've even seen one that says, would you be terribly offended if I asked for your phone number? Well, I wouldn't have been, but now that you mention it, yeah, it's kind of offensive.
Yeah.
Again, why are we expecting?
A lot of times, things should just happen naturally. Just let it go with the flow. You don't have to be specifically trying to go do that thing or go try to make this happen, make that happen. Like, just go along with the flow. Let things happen. Let things how it's supposed to be. Everything is gonna happen for a reason, and it's just let it be. You don't need to make much changes unless it's needed to be adjusted.
Why are we putting it out there that they're going to be offended by this? Why would you speak into the universe, into their subconscious mind, even the idea that they're going to be offended by what you're about to ask them? Assume people want to work with you. Assume people want to connect with you. Assume people want to give you information that will let you add value to them and people they know. Why would I instead assume a negative frame and create into existence something that I don't want? I hope that makes sense. So the wrong thing to do in conversations is never use a negative frame. Now,
I mean, simply just breaking it down in case there are any confusion. So like how I said, like, don't go to make things in the worst case. Don't think about that too much. Try to focus on the positive. When you go out to customer or any client or anything, try to go toward the positive side and guide them and lead them to that side rather than keep telling them the pros and cons. I mean, sometimes it is okay to tell them the cons. I mean, some of the stuff are just really bad about it, but you want to highlight the pros and you need to let them know why it's worth this value. Why should they get it? And why do they need it?
Real quickly, I want to just talk about what's the right way to do it. When you're having these conversations, what are some right things to do whenever you're talking to somebody? Well, a lot of times you're going to get negative. And you say, well, you know, I've heard statements like that. I've heard people say, I'm sick and tired of hearing from real estate agents. Aha. That's different. You talk to a seller, let's say your prospecting expired, you knock on the door, and they go, like, or you call them and they say, I'm so sick and tired of all you realtors, blah, blah, blah. Well, now remember, I told you a negative frame is don't say, I know you're probably sick and tired of hearing from agents. However, here's something that can change it. And that is if they say it first. Now watch this. If they say it first, the right thing to do in a conversation is to repeat. I know I couldn't do the delete because it's not on a computer. Repeat and affirm. So if they say, I'm so sick and tired of hearing, I'm sick and tired of hearing from all you realtors. Now it's perfectly appropriate for you to repeat or reflect back to them what they just said and acknowledge that. Oh, so you're getting hammered by agents. I know it can be just frustrating. Oh, so it's obviously, I know you're getting annoyed or sick. So it sounds like you're sick and tired of hearing from agents. Oh, I get it. I'm repeating what they're saying and I'm affirming it. Now here's the difference. When I lead with it, I'm creating something. Okay, I'm speaking into existence something I don't want, right? I'm creating the negative thing. When they say it and I repeat it and affirm it.
In this case, I believe it's always about attention, where the attention is being placed at and where's attention is being at. Because a lot of time, if someone else comes to you with the negative framing, like I said, go along with the flow, how it's connected from earlier. Going along with the flow is important because where the attention is at, when the customer or your client comes in and question and like giving you the negative frame, I mean, you build off of that. First, you best definitely have empathy in them and sympathy along with that and trying to understand them. And then based off of that, give them the positive value, add value to the thing that you're trying to sell or prove, and you'll slowly get the affirmation by the customer. And that's how you get into the conversation and go with the flow.
Something totally different is happening, and that is I'm connecting with their feelings. I'm connecting with their thoughts. I'm connecting with their emotions and saying, I hear you. I feel you. I understand what you're saying. I understand your emotion. Whatever that emotion is, whether it's anger, annoyance, frustration, irritation, whatever it is, I get it. I hear you. And so repeating and affirming is a way of connecting with people as opposed to leading with people. Now, as opposed to leading people in a direction you don't want to go. Mm-hmm. So when they go negative, now it's perfectly appropriate to say, oh, I get it. Oh, so you're feeling this way. Oh, so this is happening. Okay, so when you ask them, so I was curious, when do you think you might be looking to make a move? And they say, oh, we have no plans to moving. Got it. So right now you really have no plans to move. Good for you. Now, I didn't create the negative frame of them not wanting to move. I simply repeated and affirmed what they want, what they're thinking. And so I'm just...
And yet, a lot of time in negotiation, just simply focus on what they want, what the customer or your client want, not really what you want to do, because you're building your brand and your reputation. You should be serving someone else as a service rather than focusing what you're trying to do, which is make sales. And there's this key difference. When you aim for the service and your branding, trust me, the result will turn out better, always better than you trying to just simply make the sale and maybe possibly make that sale in the short term, but on a long term, why? It's not a great way to build a relationship.
I'm acknowledging with it and I'm literally stepping alongside what they're feeling. So I'm talking to them. They say, well, we have no plans to move. Oh, good. So you have no plans to move. Good for you. I'm literally coming alongside them and acknowledging, I hear you, and I'm excited for you that you feel that way. Okay, so I'm getting on people's side, and that's very powerful in connecting with people. So the first thing you got to do is connect with people, and repeating and affirming is one of the most powerful ways to do this. Now, a lot of this is what is using strategies that is often associated with neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. Okay, if you're familiar with that, a lot of this comes from that. However, this is a very powerful, just a simple strategies of influence. of persuasion, of learning how to lead people and influence people in your conversations. So I'm going to repeat and affirm what they're feeling, what they're thinking, and simply in doing so, simply bring myself alongside them. And then the second thing is, as I do that, as you repeat and affirm, especially if it's somebody that's gone negative, once you repeat and affirm them, then you can reframe the conversation to lead toward a yes. So let's go back to the expired. You call them, you knock on their door. I'm sick and tired of hearing from your realtors. So I hear you. You're hearing it from realtors all day long. I know you're sick and tired of it. I get it. So if you had sold the home, where were you thinking of going next? Well, we were moving to da-da-da. Got it. But we're just getting bombarded with agents. We're tired of it. I hear you. So it sounds like making this move is something you would still like to do, correct? Now, I did something just very simple with them, and that is all you're doing is very simply acknowledging, I'm repeating and affirming their frustration, and then I'm simply reframing the conversation back to what they want. And that is, if they're an expired, they had the house on the market, they wanted to sell the house and move. They wanted to go somewhere. They wanted to do something different, right? This was not the plan. So I'm acknowledging they're upset about the plan failing. However, now I'm going to reframe the conversation to focus on what they did want. Okay? I'm not going to say, oh, so you're sick and tired of hearing from realtors. Great. So I would like to apply. And would you set up an appointment to come let me list your house? All I'm doing is now talking about things that they don't want to hear about that I want to talk about. So don't talk about what you want to talk about what they want to talk about, which is what they wanted was not an agent. They didn't want a list. They didn't want all that stuff. They didn't want to have an appointment. They wanted to move. So if you could still make this move happen, if you could get your property sold and make the move to San Diego before the end of summer, is that something you would still be excited about? Well, yeah, I mean, that's what we wanted. We really wanted to be there way before the end of summer. So you wanted to be there before the end of summer. Got it. Now, what I just did was completely reframe the conversation from we're mad and sick and tired of agents to, but we want to go to San Diego. And now I've got some influence, and now I can lead the conversation toward the yes. Now, here's the magic. Learn the skills of what to say and how to say it. And then as you talk to people, engage those opportunities and always expect yes.
Just right there was real simply explaining, switching your position from a negative position to a positive way. And that's always a good way to start off a negotiation, conversation, or helping out your client, meeting their needs and everything. And overall, I appreciate you guys staying here with me with that much being forward and said. Subscribe and thumbs up, comment down below what you think of how Kevin Hor just explained it, and I'll see you guys on the next one.